Member for Wanguri.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. My question is to the Minister for Early Education and the Public Service. Minister, the high cost of living is continually raised with me by the good people of the Wanguri electorate, with recent increases to groceries, insurance and interest rates. Families in my electorate and across the Territory are struggling to pay the bills. As the Assistant Minister for Treasury and Finance and as a mother myself, I know that childcare costs make up a huge part of the family budget. Minister, can you please explain to the House how the Labor Party plan to increase childcare fees to Territory parents and what action our CLP government has taken to ensure childcare fees don't increase in the Territory and place families under budget pressures, or ensure childcare centres to continue to provide quality care?
Minister for Early Education. Silence, please.
Thank you, Member for Wanguri, for the important question. And I did touch on this with the Member for Nightcliff previously. But it goes again, Madam Speaker, and shows how out of touch the Labor Party is with what matters to Territorians. The member for Wanguri joined me last week to hear directly from a childcare business in her electorate about how they would have no choice but to hike up their childcare fees if the Labor Party's portable long service leave scheme was implemented in the Territory. So Sarah Lloyd joined me from Territory Childcare Group, and she operates several daycare centres across Darwin, said that the Labor scheme failed to consider the true cost for childcare businesses. She said this additional financial burden would have been passed on to families in the form of increased childcare fees. So the CLP opposed this scheme, Madam Speaker, when in opposition and voted against Labor's bill when it was rushed through Parliament before the election last year. At the time, we spoke with several local childcare businesses who told us Labor had failed to consult with them about the impact of the scheme. And they said the scheme would be an accounting nightmare and could ultimately cost up to $50,000 in increased costs each year. Madam Speaker, this is why the CLP government will be repealing the portable long service leave. And surprise, surprise, Madam Speaker, upon coming into government, we found that in typical Labor fashion, their portable long service scheme was not properly budgeted for, in fact unfunded, and would have relied on a Treasury loan to cover its set-up costs, with no ongoing funding assigned for its operational once active. The set-up costs alone were estimated to be between $4 and $12 million, with millions more required annually to operate the scheme. To not plan or budget for this scheme is a disgrace and would have only added to the Territory's catastrophic debt levels, which we...
Pause. I can hear you, Opposition Leader, louder than what I can hear the Minister. Can you just keep it down? Thank you, Minister.
So to not plan or budget for this scheme is a disgrace and would have only added to the Territory's catastrophic debt levels, which we have inherited. And to make it worse, the Territory Government, as the main funder of these community service roles, would have borne the brunt of this scheme, with the estimated cost to the NT Government $20 million a year. The CLP Government values and supports our hard-working community services sector. This change will not affect employees' existing long service leave entitlements under enterprise agreements. But, Madam Speaker, it is clear this was costly and poorly thought-out scheme that, if implemented, would have cost Territory families hundreds of dollars a year. And thankfully, we have acted to ensure this does not happen.